All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new program year. It's crazy to even say that. Just very excited for us to be able to start a brand new program. I mean, it's amazing the work that was done, in 21, 22. Looking at the data, looking at all the children's and demographics that were served. I mean, I was blown away, and we had some really good grantees that presented, and Lorelai will talk a little bit about that in a little bit, that really touched, I would say, the hearts of leadership in the council. And so, just very excited that you all are still part of this process. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen. I'm just going to go ahead and go. I'm holding 3 screens, and as you all know, there's no Adina to help me. And so just know, feel free to interrupt if you have any questions, okay? Let's see. All right. Can you all see my screen well? Great. Thank you, Jeffrey. I can see you. All right. So let's see. Quick agenda today, roll call. Please put in, what organization you're from if you haven't already done so. This is the way in which we do attendance for the webinar. There are some that has told me beforehand that they're unable to attend. And just know, if that's ever your situation, just let us know, okay? I'll go over some changes, minor changes to the portal this year. Demographics report, talk a little bit about that with you all. And then PSC will give a little an equity fund evaluation update, and then we'll do quick reminders. So it might be a easy webinar today. This year, we have 25 grantees. We have lost one grantee, and that is because of COVID. They were just unable to hire anyone. And so they have decided to take a step back and said, you know what, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until we are more stable when it comes to staffing. And so they have chosen to opt out this year. And so we have 25 grantees this year. And these are all of you. So thank you for staying and sticking with us. So some updates, as you all are aware, Adina is no longer with the ELD. She is with the Department of Revenue now, so very excited for her. And so there's definitely an opening. I have sent out her job opening to you all to share within your network. If you know of anyone that, this person's going to be Adina. So who would you like to work alongside me, would like to work alongside you in this equity fund, And so if you know anyone that you think would be interested, I definitely will be interested in getting to meet them, getting to know them. During the meantime, Teresa is actually the director of grants management. So she's actually Adina's supervisor. She will be covering Adina until we hire this position. And so it will stay open until we hire someone. Screenings will become, they will start screening applications as of August 15th. And so if you know anyone, please share it out. I will also send it as an attachment, as a link, a hyperlink in the email I will send out with the slides and the link to the YouTube and all that as well. And so just know that a job opening is there. Just know how critical this person is. This person will be working with us, you and me, very closely. And so we want to find the right candidate, the person that really has the passion. Adina, she has the passion. This is her baby. It was really hard for her to go, but you can't say no to a great promotion, and continue to do what you love and continuing to grow professionally. So I'm very, very excited for her. And so just, if anyone within your network, please send it along, okay? Grant agreements still currently in the same situation. I mean, it is very frustrating. I am very frustrated with you. I actually, like yesterday, I had a meeting with leadership and talked with them as well, saying this is not okay. We've got to do something about it. And so there are some things in the works. This whole annual contract is causing too much of a hiccup for finances during the summer. And so we're taking a look at even possibly just, instead of doing annual contracts, doing the bi-annual contracts instead. So instead of having to go through this whole fiscal situation every summer with every single publicly funded program. This is causing too much work. And we're actually working harder than smarter. And so we are taking a look at that. That's actually something that we're going to change. So we're making steps towards that change. But once everything is approved, Teresa will be the one sending you the grant agreements. Please take a look at it. Once it's signed, please return it to Teresa, and then she will have the grant manuals attached as well. And then at that time, if there's any changes within your budget, because obviously, once you see the amount that you received, some would have gotten what they requested, some may have gotten less. You can make details to your budget, make changes to your budget to adjust accordingly. And so just wait until then to get that information and then submit it to Teresa. Her email is provided there. And so just send her any emails. If you want to CC me on it as well too, I can do that to make sure that someone's on top of it. Either way, she's the director of grants management. She'll be on top of it. Let's see, changes on the equity fund reporting portal. We heard a lot about the ability to submit pictures, flyers, photos, documents, and all that. This is something that we have added to the monthly performance report. And so at the very bottom, there's attachment, an area for you to attach. And so please send us any flyers that if you're doing any peer engagement activities, any flyers, anything you're using to outreach, it would be great to see those documents. Let's see, we are looking at seeing if we can have the ability to share the documents, not documents, but the photos, if possible, with PSU, but we're still looking at our internal Smartsheet portal to see if we're able to do that, because to be completely transparent, that was Adina that did that. I do not know Smartsheets like that. And so the program admin, I have asked them, and so I have not heard from that yet, but if possible, well, you'll see if there's a change on the bottom of the performance report, access or the ability to share with PSU or not. If not, then we'll go back to the previous year where it was submitted through their own, I forgot what it was called, PSE, but they had their own platform that they had for you all to drop photos in. From the end of the year reports, I heard a lot about access to program service delivery calendars online instead of the constant Kimberly nagging you all the time to give me an updated calendar. And so I put access to that to the portal. I've also put reporting templates. I was informed by multiple grantees, is there any way you can have something like a checklist, a template for us to gather this information? So when we sit down and work on the report, we know we have everything. And so I have those reporting templates available at the bottom of the portal, and also a document checklist. And so let me just pull it up. So this is the portal, this is for this biennium, second year of the biennium. All the reports are still in the same area. But in the bottom here, you'll see the reporting document checklist. This is the checklist of all the documents reports that need to be submitted to us, and so you can pull this out, you can print it, and then you can just start checking it off if you submitted it or not. There's just to support, so you'll know what you have submitted or not. As always, you can always ask me too, Kimberly, did I submit this or not? Okay, so there's that. On the very bottom here, this is access to the program service delivery calendar. Let me give you this link right now on the chat box, just in case people want to work on it and take a look at it while there you go. So here, when you click on the service delivery calendar, it takes you to a Google Doc drive. You will have your own document. Okay, this is where you could go and you have editing ability. If I was Faces of America, I'll go in and click on it and just make edits to and add your information in there. If you would prefer the other way in which you submit it to me, totally fine as well. This is just so that it's available for you online at all times. It's a living document. You can make changes anytime. So when I'm looking, I said, okay, I need to double check what's their goal this month, or oops, I need for the next 6 months, I need updated goals. I could go in and check to see if it's on there. If it's not, then that's when I'll nudge you and ask you to complete it. So just know that you have full on access to this and the program service delivery calendar on the bottom of the portal. Please just click on your own document. Everybody has editing capabilities, which means you can edit other let's see, other grantees documents, but please just click on your own and edit your own. Okay. And if something happened like, oh, Kimberly, I accidentally deleted this, I don't know how to get it back, I can look at and track and see what changes were made and put it back to its usual format. And so just know that this is the area in which you can access your program service delivery online, live, document whatever you change, the changes you make immediately, I see on my end. If you're working on it live and I go click on it, we'll see each other. We can even say hi on it. So just know that this is access to the program service delivery online. Okay. And so please go in and as you can see from the document checklist, program service delivery calendars are due, I believe, on the 1st. Yes, September 15th. They're due on the 15th. So please go in and submit your goals, your monthly goals, your annual goals, your monthly goals by then. Okay. And then the templates I said that would help that some grantees have asked is, for example, these 3 reports, the children's demographics and the parenting. I have not done the performance report yet, so I will work on that. And so this is for the exact questions pulled from the report for you to print out and be able to have the information. You know, your name, information, did you serve any or yes? If you did not, you're done. If you did serve, how many, what age, you know, it's just a template for you to be able to gather all that information. So once you have all this information, you could just go sit down and submit the report in, you know, instead of leaving it, going back, coming back and losing what information you had. And so just know that these are available at the bottom of the download center at the portal for you all this year. Okay. The document area in which I said you could submit documents, flyers, photos is in the monthly performance report. This is the report that has all of your numbers of the services provided that month. And so if you click on that, at the very bottom, after the narratives, this is where it will allow you to have that, you know, that Dropbox area, that drop off file area. And so photos, flyers, I mean, anything I'm seeing graduation photos. I mean, it is amazing. I love looking at the photos and it's great. These are photos that we would actually just use internally. For example, if I have to do an update to the ELD on the equity fund, these are the photos I'll use. These photos I never use externally ever. And so just know that these are only for internal purposes. But then if we're able to add PSU and everything on there, it would be here as well. If we're not able to, we'll get back to you and we'll let you know where to provide photos to PSU. Okay, so that's still in the works. There's that. Let's see. Then please chime in if you have any questions. I cannot see the chat box at all. And so just chime in, okay? Demographic reports, everybody, obviously, please continue to submit that. But for parent demographics this year, many have expanded and are doing parent education programs now. And so everybody will be submitting parent demographics as well, except for the 5 grantees I have listed here. The 5 grantees I have listed here are the only ones that are not overseeing a parent education program that's funded by the ELD. Okay, and so if you're Hacienda, OCDC, Kairos, Ontario, Confederate Tribe of Grand Ronde, you do not have to complete parent demographics. Everyone else, you will need to complete it this year. Last year, only half had parent education programs, and so they were able to submit those, but this year it's expanded, and many of you are providing parent education activities now, and so that is funded through the equity fund. And so please make sure you complete the parent demographics as well. And then the monthly expenditure reports as well, that will go to Teresa. She'll be the one overseeing that. Still, like this past year, all reports are due on the 15th. Just let me know if you need an extension. You all have been really great at letting me know in advance. And so it's been very helpful. Let me know so I can let Teresa know as well if there's an extension is needed. Okay. So some data from the end of the year reports. I wanted to share with you, just an FYI, there's still some reports missing, okay? But from what we have for 21-23 so far, you all have served over 3,700 children. I mean, that is incredible. To know that the goal from the state is just 2,500, and for you all to surpass it by over 1,000, I mean, it's over 1,200. It's amazing. So I am so thankful. I am so grateful to be the program manager of this equity fund. Getting to talk about you and doing presentations has been so fulfilling for me. I'm just so happy to be working with you all. I'm so happy that you are our grantees. You are doing this amazing work, and look at the many lives that you've touched. And this is just the children. If we were to add family members, oh my goodness, it would be even more than that. So just from the data alone of what has been submitted so far to date, we a total of 3734. That being said, I believe there's like 3 reports that are still missing. And so once those are added in, we'll see what the numbers are. From the end of the year reports, I have received 24 of the 26 grantees for the last fiscal year, the reports. And so we have 2 missing, but as you can see, there's 9 grantees that has provided in-person services all year, 3 virtual and 12 hybrid. Completely fine. Do what works for your community, for your organization. And so just through that, you've been able to touch so many lives. There is a range of 1 to 19 sites, and then a range from 1 to 35 staff that's needed to run equity fund programs. And so a huge range. And then communication and feedback, PM is program manager, GM is grant manager, the ranges of satisfaction of communication with me and with Adina, very satisfied to satisfied. Webinars, 7 said, no, we don't really use it, to be honest with you, Kimberly. 1 said, I wasn't aware it was even available. And then 16 said they were satisfied with it being on YouTube. If needed, they would access it. And so just know this webinar is recorded, so it's put onto YouTube, and that's what I share out with the slide deck. And so just know it's always available. You can always go back and look at our previous meetings as well. But our webinars are recorded and put on just in case we have grantees. Like today, I know that there's 2 grantees that are having training and are unable to attend. And so I would hope that they would watch this afterwards. Grant manual, it ranged from very satisfied to neither. 1 actually said they never had access to it. They were a new staff that came on board afterwards, or they were just never handed it from their previous coordinator. And so it's good to know. I think I need to make it as accessible on the bottom of the equity fund portal for anyone to have access to. And so that's in the works. Once I know who the next program admin that's going to help me with Smart Sheets. EGIMS, were there any claim rejections? 4 of 20 said yes, there were. Of the claims that were rejected, was it clear why it was rejected? 4 of 4 said yes, it was clear why it was rejected. They fixed it. And 20 of you said nope, there were no rejections, and it all went well. Smart Sheet platform portal, 2 said the reports were clear, 2 said needs improvement. And then the platform, was it easy to access? 23 said yes, 1 said neither. And then the platform, was it easy to use? 22 agreed and 2 disagreed. And so I'll definitely connect with the ones that disagreed or had neither, because I wanted to be able to find ways in which I can support you, and in ways in which I need to change our system. So like I said, we're still building this airplane while flying it. We are so open to feedback. Please give us any feedback in which you think it would make it easier and better for you. We can definitely connect then. And so it's really good for all this information that we received. And thank you for completing the end of the year reports. To the two grantees that has not submitted it yet, please submit those soon. At the end of this webinar, there will be a reminder with the deadlines of upcoming documents. ELD publicly funded programs. I sent an email about this out. If you are a grantee that's also an OPK grantee or a preschool promise grantee, there is a document in which I need you to complete. I sent it out via email. I will send it again with a slide deck. This document it's a T-chart. It's a T-chart that explains what your funding is doing, what for which program, just so we can distinctively say Equity Fund is covering this part of your preschool promise classroom or this part of your Head Start classroom, while Head Start fundings are doing this, just so that we can weed out any a misunderstanding of how funding is being covered for having two or three funding streams from the ELD as a publicly funded program. And so please complete that. I will send that out once I upload this webinar into YouTube and send you the slide deck with all the links. This will be added on there as well too. And so please send that to me by September 1st, because I'll need that information so that when I meet with the OPK director, program manager and preschool promise manager, we're able to talk about the difference of the different fundings. And so internally at the ELD, we're working on a better system to keep each other updated with the different programs that we have multiple of the same grantees. And this is one of the starting points for us. So there's that. So next, it's Portland State. I'm going to, PSU, do you need to share slides? Let me give you ability to.
That would be great. Thanks, Kimberly.
Let's see, let me stop sharing so you can share. Let's see.
It says it's disabled.
Okay, just made you host, made you Alexis.
There it is.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Kimberly. It was great to see all that data from the year-end report. Kind of an unexpected treat. I wasn't expecting that. It was so interesting. So hello, it's good to see everybody today. It's been a while since the evaluation team has been here to update folks on the design process. So we're especially glad to have this opportunity to kind of catch everybody up today and share with you what we have been working on over the last couple of months, as well as give you kind of a sneak preview on how we are hoping that you all, the full group of grantees, will be able to participate coming up real soon. So let me start this. Da-da-da. Before I jump in though, Kimberly gave you kind of a sneak preview. We wanted to be sure that everyone was aware of the recent presentation to the Early Learning Council. And this presentation was about the year one evaluation findings, as well as the evaluation design process that we're engaged in right now. And if you haven't already had a chance to either watch it in real time, or watch the recording, I would really encourage you to go back and take a look, especially the section where your colleagues Velan Brown from BPI, Valerie Switzler from Warm Springs, and Amina Leary from SEI shared their experiences and their perspectives with the Early Learning Council. Like Kimberly said, it really had an amazing impact. They did such a fabulous job. And we have some hints that there may already be some impact. So we do understand that the ELD was asked by the ELC chair to actually request expanded ESEF funding for the next session. Of course, we have no idea if that will actually come through, but it certainly seems very encouraging. And Kimberly, I don't know if you would add anything to that from your perspective.
Yes, no, it's I just wanted to say thank you to the grantees that did do the presentation. It's like what you said, there are some movements and we're at the beginning steps of that, but it was because of that presentation that I would say internally at the ELD, it made the leadership team even more cognizant of the equity fund and all the work that you all are doing. And so it has planted the seed for other conversations. So thank you for that.
So with that good news, let's get back to the evaluation design process. What have we been working on over the past few months? So we've really been engaged in a pretty in-depth process, working on developing 2 evaluation tools, a parent-family outcome tool and a parent-family satisfaction tool. And just as a reminder, the purpose of these 2 tools is really to address these 4 research questions that were identified by the ELG. So what are ESEF program benefits for parents and caregivers? What are ESEF program benefits for families? How are families and children experiencing ESEF programs? Are they satisfied? And to what extent are families defining and meeting their own goals? So those are kind of the overarching questions that have been guiding this part of the process. So the first thing that we did to kick off this piece of the design process was actually to take a close look at 3 tools that some of the ESEF grantees are already using. So for example, the Parenting Skills Ladder, the Protective Factors Survey. And we really kind of dug in and spent several months thinking about what we liked about these tools, maybe what we didn't like so much. Would there be an option to kind of tweak them for the purposes of the ESEF evaluation? Or did it seem like maybe we actually just want to kind of start over and design our own tool specific for this evaluation? And in fact, that is where we ended up landing. We did decide to create our own new ESEF, brand new original tools. So that's been pretty exciting. Again, as a reminder, the core areas of interest that had been identified for parent and family level outcomes. So this is what we would be trying to get at with the tools that we're designing, are represented here. So parenting confidence, parenting knowledge, parent-family well-being, parent-family empowerment, parent-family connection to culture, language, sense of cultural pride, and then, as I mentioned already, parent and family satisfaction with services. So we also, in thinking about designing these tools, worked our way through specifying what we thought the basic parameters for the tool should be. So for example, we all agreed we think the tool should be brief and easy to complete, probably a combination of sort of survey style questions, but also open-ended questions, opportunities to write in. We thought the tool should be flexible enough so it could be completed by a parent or caregiver on their own, or with staff assistance, if that was something that worked better. I think maybe most importantly, we agreed that we really needed to come up with options to make these tools flexible and responsive to each of the communities, right? The Equity Fund represents such a diverse range of communities. We're really wrestling with this idea of how do we create a tool that everybody can use, but that is flexible enough that it can be appropriate and responsive for each community. And so what we came up with were some guidelines around flexibility. For example, we would want to make sure that grantees could make changes to the wording of particular questions in order so that they would make sense and to support understanding across communities. Also, we wanted to be sure that folks would have the option to skip questions that don't apply or don't seem like a good fit. And as well, to add questions maybe that aren't represented across all the grantees, but are really important and of interest to particular programs. So that's kind of the guiding principles around flexibility that we came up with. We also agreed that we thought in terms of flexibility and responsiveness, that the tool should be one that could be completed at various time points. So whatever makes sense, again, for your own particular program, it could be that it makes sense to have a tool that's completed when families come into a program and then again at the end. Or maybe it makes sense just to have them completed at the end, or maybe there are other options that we have not yet thought of. So where are we now in the process? We have indeed drafted 2 tools, one for parent-family outcomes, one for parent-family satisfaction. And the ELG members are in the process of gathering feedback internally from their home organizations. And we will continue kind of in an iterative fashion as that feedback comes in to revise the tools, to refine the tools. And we're hoping to have a pretty solid working draft by the end of August. Then our hope is to come back to this group and share out those draft tools with all of you. Likewise, to get your feedback so that we can continue to make revisions all through the fall. And then just to zoom out for a minute and give you kind of the big picture of the whole timeline for this piece of work. This September through December, as I mentioned, we plan to continue revising and refining the draft tools. And we're going to start working on identifying or creating our own child level tool. And again, there'll be a parallel process there for all of the grantees to provide their feedback as well. So we'll have the same process happening this fall, where we will share drafts with you all and then get feedback and continue to make revisions. In January of 2023, the idea is that we will pilot test our pretty solid working drafts with families. So get that real world, real time feedback from families on these draft tools to see how they work or don't. And the expectation is that we'll get really important feedback coming out of that process that will then again be used to further revise and refine the tools. So that's what we'll be working on April through May, is really trying to pull those together and get them ready for data collection. June through August next summer, the idea is to provide data collection and training, technical assistance to any and all who need it to support actual data collection beginning in September. So exciting. It sounds like a long time away, and yet we know it's going to fly. So we've got a lot that we're working on between now and then. But I think we're all pretty excited about the possibilities. And with that, I would just open it up for any questions or comments. Also, I know there are some ELG members here. If anybody wants to chime in, that would be great.
Yeah, this is Jeff, and I just wanted to have you make some kind of a statement as to the expectations about whether ESEF grantees would be using these or not using these tools that are being developed.
Right. I appreciate that, Jeff. Thank you. So as I think we have mentioned before, the idea here is that this is an offering. It's an invitation to use these tools, and we certainly would like to work with everyone to explore whether or not they are a good fit. However, there isn't a requirement to use these particular tools. It really is an invitation. Does that help, Jeff? I'm going to stop sharing, and I think the hope is that we will be coming back in September with a whole lot more information about next steps and how to get involved in the review and revision process. So I look forward to that.
I realize I'm on mute. So you're almost done. We it's a very quick webinar today. But quick reminders. Quick reminders. As you can see from the portal that I showed you earlier, there's a checklist, but these are reminders for you as well. One key piece is remember that July is a brand new fiscal year, so all children and parents are considered new. So for all the grantees that are completing the parent demographics this year, just know that it's only for your parent education program. I know many of you are doing parent education and parent-child interaction. We only need the demographics for the parent education, okay? And then all demographics for children, so all brand new. So we would need demographics for everyone this for July moving forward. Outstanding reports, like I said, there are still 3 reports that's missing from 2 grantees. Please complete that. We really want to close the books by September 1st. We need those final reports in. Also, if you, for example, we have programs where their parent education activity doesn't start until December or doesn't start until October. For the month, like this month or September, just put down 0. You would have to go in and complete a parent education demographics, but just say 0 was served. Okay, just so that we have it tracked that you have not started services yet. It's going to start later, but currently now for every month, there's a report that's submitted by you. Okay, the publicly funded programs form. Like I said, if you are also an OPK preschool promise program, please complete that due to me by September 1st as well. Program service delivery calendars, you have access to that online. Please complete that on September 15th, or actually, honestly, the 16th. That's when I'll go in and take a look and see who submitted, who hasn't, and I'll start reading those. And like I said earlier, upon executed grant agreement, just know an updated budget will be due in 30 days. And then check-in start next week. So I'm very excited to be connecting with you all next week. I will send an email out on the Friday before every week just to remind you of when your check-in is. If it needs to be rescheduled or anything like that, totally fine. We can do so. And so the check-ins is what I enjoy the most. And so I love getting to connect with you. So just very excited. But that's pretty much all. That's it. Thank you for attending. I will stay behind in case anyone wants to connect with me. If you have any questions, let me stop sharing 3 screens. If you have any questions that you have that you may want to connect with me on, I'm going to be available. But other than that, I'm going to stop recording now, and whoever, and for the staff that are here, if you have anyone that you think can watch this, I will be sending the YouTube link and the documents and slide decks out afterwards. And so you'll have all that in an email coming back to you. Okay. So let me stop recording.